Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. Oh, maybe just for having to watch that game, but no, I'm just kidding. Um, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. We've established that. He lose tonight, 119, 118 in overtime because why Myron Gardner decided to go for the two, I'll never know, but he did, and then things were going pretty well. And then Keshad Johnson, man. I mean, whew. Keshad Johnson, is running the inbounds because he's supposed to be the leader of these, future Sioux Falls players, and he tries to get into Gabe Matson, who's hounded. They turn it over. Just a complete rudderless botch job by Miami. They completely had this one. What were they up 7 with a minute left to go? It was quintessential the same as last year with blowing games. It was crazy. The Heat, I think, yeah, they were up 116, 109. But they just kept like fouling the Atlanta Hawks. You could have just let the Atlanta Hawks score every time they wanted. You would have been in a better spot than you were. Kept stopping the clock and, sending them to the free throw line. And it was just, just a excruciating game to watch today, ladies and gentlemen. An excruciating preseason to watch thus far, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of not a lot of great. Not a lot of great. I mean, Ethan Thompson had a really nice overtime. Props to that. I mean, it was, the G Leaguers fighting back and forth, basically the entire fourth quarter. But Keshad, man, like, I got to start with him just because, I had a lot of hopes with him coming into the season. And this by no means defines what his season is going to be. But in a game where you're supposed to be getting NBA minutes this year, you looked very much as much like a guy who belongs on a two-way as opposed to a guaranteed deal. And that can't happen, man. It looked like he had found something. He had a great assist to Thompson, and then he got a runner, did a nice little bully move. Then we had this weird delay where like the floor was moist. Very strange. And then Keshad smoked a fast break layup, but they end up getting the putback and going to the line. And I was just like, all right, well, fine. But the fouls were just aplenty, and then what happened. They botched the inbounds, and that's what it is. Heartbreaking loss for the Heat, who remain winless on the preseason, which, by the way, the Heat are playing a lot of preseason games this year. The Heat, by design, I think the most you can play is 6, which is what the Heat are playing. Most teams play 4. The Heat have lost every single one of these ones. Today was particularly disappointing for a couple of reasons. Because the Heat, I won't say they played their starters because, they went into this thing with, no Jovic isn't on the trip. They started Drew Smith, so they've been playing Davion off the bench, which I don't know if that's a tip on anything, just because that's what Spo's doing his usual thing of like just keeping a guy in his role, and he wants to keep Davion Mitchell there. And Davion, I would say Davion and Jaime had some good moments today off the bench. Jaime continues having a really rock solid preseason. So that's like one of the good things. I would say the good of this preseason is probably Jaime Jaquez, Kalel Ware, and that's about it. I mean, like, look, the Heat shot under 40%. I think Eric reads that it's the third time they've done that this preseason. They were 5 of 34 from downtown, and that was, let me get in regulation, I think they were 3 of 30 today in regulation. It was and it was an atrocious basketball game to watch. 3 of 30 today from downtown. 3 of 30 from downtown. That's ugh. So they nearly matched their threes tonight in overtime. It's been some really rough basketball. Nobody really packed their shot tonight. You look at the starters today who all look like strangers, quite frankly. Andrew Wiggins, 3 of 11. Bam, 4 of 11. Norman Powell, 4 of 14. It was ugh, not a fun watch today, dude. Not a fun watch in any means. And look, I'm not, and I probably should mention the worst part of today, which was that Bam Adebayo, who, you know, Bam Adebayo today, who finished with 13 points, 9 rebounds in 19 minutes, and started to get it going, got to the free throw line a good amount today, as did Norman Powell. So that was there. But they like, here's the thing. You can't really be impressed with anything the starters did today or the group of stars that were out there. The Hawks were playing nobody. Like, they literally said, one guy, I think his name is Lamont Butler, I think they said he signed this afternoon. And the guy comes out, he's absolutely cooking in the first quarter of this game. And Miami got down like, what was their largest deficit in this game? Let me see. It should say it. Largest lead for the Hawks. I think it was 14. I think it was 14 in the second quarter. I think it ended up being 14 was their largest lead. Miami ended up going on a 16-0 run to, get back and make this a game. But dude, again, look, one of the things with losing Duncan Robinson and not having Tyler Herro, this team cannot shoot. I mean, they don't, and I don't necessarily know where that's going to come from. Jovic certainly can provide some spacing. You need Wiggins to have one of his on nights. You need Norman Powell to be hitting his shots, but there's not necessarily that ignitable guy that Eric Spoelstra likes to talk about on this roster. So, I wouldn't say this like worries me, but have I enjoyed watching the last couple of games? No. Was this a confidence booster in any way? Not really, dude. I can't say that I'm pleased with what I'm watching, and then you add on top of it with Bam. Bam ends up leaving the game today with a knee contusion. Thought it was an ankle. I don't really know which one is better or worse. I guess it depends on how bad the bruising is for Bam. But that's not a fun injury to have. So we'll keep an eye on that. But obviously, and then, you worry a little bit about this whole thing with him and Kalel. Like, how is that spacing going to work together? Bam and Kalel, their numbers were pretty good last year, but you do worry again about the shooting of this team. And certainly with Drew Smith out there, like, I don't really get why Spo went that direction. And I like Drew. Drew had one of his quintessential, I feel like I've used that word a lot today. One of his trademark, steal it and then put it in for an and one. Those hustle plays that he can bring to the table, but not great, dude. No, I'm not going to do it. Maybe I want to do it. But yeah. Trying to see, man. What else we got from today? We got to say a little bit of Fontecchio. I mean, nothing really there. That was overly impressive from his standpoint. He got cut today too. Like, that was another thing. Like, guys just kept getting banged up. Bam got banged up. Davion twisted an ankle. Fontecchio headbutt Butler, and he ended up cut on his eye. It was tough, man. Not exactly the most enjoyable watch in the world. This has not exactly been a preseason to write home about so far tonight. And then you were kind of hoping like, all right, this was an ugly game. The shooting was bad, but you were going to pull one out, and nope, classic Heat. Let me lose in the most embarrassing, gut wrenching fashion, even if it is like they literally just they pulled out the regular season playbook today. Even the G Leaguers are doing that. You're just like, what? What do you mean you blew that lead? I don't understand. You had this lead in overtime. It was right there for you, and yet somehow you you screwed the pooch on that one. I don't understand. Well, understand it. He got their largest lead of the game, and the Hawks said doesn't matter. So the other thing that's a piece of news, and I don't know what to make of this. A couple more things, not necessarily game related, but on the broadcast, Dominique Wilkins. I think this is Dominique Wilkins because he is the analyst for the television network. But Heat Culture on Twitter, I saw some people talk about this Heat Culture, and he said that I was talking to Miami Heat personnel, and they said Tyler Herro would be ready to go by the beginning of the regular season. I imagine Spo's going to be asked about that. I don't know how many local reporters are boots on the ground for that one, so I don't want to be too presumptive on that one. But he will if they're not today, whenever they practice again this week or at the red, white, and pink, he will be asked about that. But that is interesting. So just keep that in mind that it appears Dominique Wilkins put that out in the ether. I'm assuming it's him. That Tyler Herro could be back by the regular season. God damn, they look like they needed him tonight, if that is the case, because wow, they cannot shoot a lick. So just keep that in mind. I also lashed out at ESPN today, and I probably shouldn't have, but I was really bothered. Like today, I guess I don't know if you guys watched NBA today. I did not, but today was supposed to be, I guess, Heat Day, 30 teams in 30 days, right? And so they post some stuff on social media that was like the first thing they posted was a CGI LeBron statue, doing his celebration, and they were like, it was weird because the question was, does LeBron deserve his jersey retired? Which is like, why would you put a fake statue? That's kind of weird. I guess it's just eye catching. Which he obviously, and I just want to make this clear, LeBron obviously deserves to have his jersey retired with the Heat. I may have had my Team Petty era against LeBron James, but I will not deny his Heat excellence. He absolutely deserves to get his jersey retired, but that's not the point. If it's Heat Day on social media, can you guys just post something about the actual team? Like, you don't think, respectfully, you don't think LeBron gets enough coverage, all right? And I get it. The Heat are not the sexiest team in the world right now. Okay, I can acknowledge that. But they did just have they do have an all rookie player who was pretty excellent this past week and had some pretty badass highlights. Perhaps you could put that on Heat Day. Maybe Kasparas Yakachonis. People have said he's the steal of the draft. Could you put something like that in drink? No, LeBron. So I went on a rant about this on my radio show, and I will be damned if I am not getting trolled. Now, I know some people who work for ESPN social media, not well, but I know of them. And so I don't know if somebody's trolling me here, okay? But let me tell you something, dude. I am about to get home today. All right, I pull into my driveway and I look on my phone and I'm like, what the is this? Because these rat bastards post another LeBron thing with the Heat and tag me on it, which is, let me just get it was an old video that I shot at Heat Camp which was when Tyler Herro was talking to the campers and he was like being asked about, hey, who's the best player, dude? And he basically was like, he's like, I have to say LeBron James. And so I put this video up, and this is not the first time they posted it. Like they reached out, hey, can we post your video? Cool, whatever. It was 5 years ago. And I'm like, again with another LeBron Heat thing? You kidding me, dude? Can we like, again, LeBron, awesome time. Big three era, again, for the kids who are younger around here who didn't, who tune in, I don't know if there's ever going to be anything like that in sports. The Heat big three era. Like, if you weren't there, you missed a rock star era, okay, of LeBron, Wade, and Chris Bosh together. It was incredible. And nobody's not appreciating it. I'm just saying, if it's Heat week, can we please put some Heat stuff on? And I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they posted Jovic, where Jovic made the NBA Finals. Is that the only thing they put up? They got Ashton Hall up here. They have, let's see, they got a LeBron Chris Bosh cut. They got the Harlem Shake. It's all big three stuff. And again, great time. No, this isn't the sexiest team in the world. But dude, Bam Adebayo's got some credentials. Tyler Herro's done some things. They got Norman Powell. You can't post any of that stuff about the Heat on Heat Day, 30 teams and 30. It just has to be all big three stuff. And by the way, if you're gonna go vintage, you guys don't post one Dwayne Wade thing? Nothing? Not one Dwayne Wade highlight at all. If you're gonna go vintage, you're gonna go retro. It's gonna be all Heat LeBron. Who's the person what are they, 14 years old who put this together? Anyway, so I lashed out. I saw, and I said to him, I said, hey, put some Ware and Yakachonis highlights up here, you bums. Not my 5-year-old video. And I get it. Look, it's fine, but I'm used to it at this point. But I guarantee I'm gonna be monitoring this. I'm gonna look to see what does everybody else get for 30 for 30 days? Is it all like LeBron? Is that what everybody's getting? But would it kill him to put up something current? I guess so. At least Nico got a post. I'm happy about that. Need him back. Hope this back injury isn't bad. Otherwise, I gotta watch more of this. Not gonna do it because it's preseason. But I was thinking about it.